We are so glad you have joined us for 1, 2, 3 Count with Me. In this session, we will give you simple, age-appropriate ways to introduce numbers to preschool and kindergarten children. Laying this foundation will help students develop the necessary skills to be successful in the classroom. We are excited to be able to share practical, creative ways to make learning and teaching numbers fun and enjoyable in your classroom. My name is Kelly Walker, and I have taught K4 and K5 for 16 years. I was able to homeschool my girls for 6 years. I now am the nursery director at Pensacola Christian College. I've been doing that for 3 years. I truly enjoy working with the children as well as their parents. We also have some boys coming today, and they're going to help us as we demonstrate some fun ways to do numbers in your classroom. This is Mitch. He's in our 2-year-old program. And Branson, can you give him a wave? He's in our 5-year-old program. They'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Ashley DeWong is one of our teachers in our preschool. She's taught our 2-year-old program now for 5 years. She's also worked with children for a very long time previous to that. I really enjoy going into Ashley's classroom. She always has fun, creative ways with working with the children, helping them to have the necessary skills that they need for teaching numbers. Now, Ashley, let's talk about how do we first begin teaching these children. First thing we've got to do is just teach them a number and what a number is and what it looks like. So how do you do that in your classroom?
Well, in numbers, we have somebody special, and that is Button Bear. And he plays a very important role in that the children are a bit more drawn to him. He's used as a tool to add a little bit more spark and variety to the numbers lesson. We see Button Bear as a friend that can help make numbers a more fun and effective time of learning.
Now, I think Mitch is going to come in just a minute to help you. Now, Ashley, how quickly do we teach numbers to the 2- and 3-year-olds?
Well, the 2-year-olds, they start numbers at week 7, and for the 3s, they start at week 3.
That's good because then you're getting them going right away, right when they first get in. So they're beginning that learning process. Now, can you give us some ideas and ways that you use Button Bear in the classroom?
Of course. Well, Button Bear is a puppet, so he can be used for all kinds of motivation. You can have Button Bear give high fives. You can tell your students that Button Bear is watching while they're counting to encourage them to do their best. And you can even have Button Bear be the example. He can demonstrate how to count to a higher number and how, or say what a number looks like if you're learning a new number as well. Button Bear conveniently has a pocket that felt items can go in. The students or I will put felt numbers at the front, and they match the items to the number that's at the front of his pocket. I'm going to have Mitch come up to the front, and he's going to help me and show us how we use Button Bear in our classroom. Mitch, can you come help us? Mitch, we're going to come see Button Bear at the board. Do you know what number this is?
4.
4, you're right. Can you put 4 stars in Button Bear's pocket for me? Go ahead, you can pick it up. There's 1, 2, 3. Are we done yet? No. And there's, oh, do we need any more? There's 4. Way to go, Mitch. I'm going to have you, can you give me a high five? I'm going to have you help me in just a minute, so you're going to stay up here with me, okay? Now, we not only use Button Bear in our numbers time, but we also use numbers concept flashcards. And descriptions of numbers are used to help learn the shape and recognition of numbers as well. Now, for some of these numbers, we might say that the numbers look like certain objects, but for others, we might simply follow the lines. For instance, Mitch, can you tell Mr. Wong, what does 7 do? 7 goes
Grass and didn't die.
I like how you were nice and loud. What about number 8? 8 looks like a
Snow.
And then we will proceed to count the animals on the back of the card. Mitch, can you count the bunnies on the back of our card for me? Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Way to go. I like how you stopped when my finger stopped. Thank you, Mitch. You may go have a seat.
Good job, Mitch. He also had so much fun expression, and you can tell that comes from Ms. DeWong as she's teaching them in the classroom. Let's go ahead and go to Ashley's classroom as she teaches the children in her room the number 3.
Elaine needs a snack right here. What number do you see by Elaine's head? 3. Can you put 3 peanuts in our bucket for us? Count them as you go, one at a time. 1, say 1. Nice and loud, say 1.
1.
comes next?
4.
Oh, let's try it again. Does 4 come after 1? No, what comes after 1? 1, 2, 3. Try it again. Okay. Now start at 1. Say 1 in the bucket.
1,
2. Are we all done? Did we reach 3 yet? No, not yet. 2. Uh-oh. 2. What comes after 2? What comes after 2? Say the name.
4.
Not 4. 3. Wait till you go.
Amanda DeArmy graduated in 2013 with her elementary education degree and then got her master's in 2015 in educational leadership. She's now taught at the academy for 6 years. Miss DeArmy always brings in a lot of fun things just to enhance that learning environment, to make the children eager to come to school and to learn each day. Amanda, now when children come to your class, I know you do K-5, or when they come to K-4, often they'll already know some of their numbers, but then you have some children who don't know those numbers. So can you tell our delegates that are watching ways that you make it fun for those who already know to introduce those numbers, but those who don't know?
Absolutely. We use those numbers concept flashcards to teach the formation, and then with our curriculum on the Fun Time CD, we have songs that go with each number formation. I'm going to have Branson come up and talk about a couple of numbers that we've learned this year. All right, now Branson, I brought some numbers with me, and can you tell me how I know that this is the number 2?
It has a curve and a flat.
And he's a flat tire on the bottom. And then how do I remember that this is number 5? Because sometimes they can be tricky. How do I remember this is number 5?
It has a full tire and it has a hat.
He's wearing a hat. And then Branson, we love to sing the songs that go with them. Can you help me sing our 5 formation song? Here we go. Down, around, and then across. Down, around, and then across. Down, around, and then across. I am the number 5. Give me a high five. Thank you for singing with me.
Good job, Branson. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Miss Amanda, how quickly are numbers introduced in the 4- and 5-year-old program?
They are introduced within the first couple days of school, and then once everything's settled down from transitioning into a new school year, numbers class will happen every day.
That's good, because then you're building upon the known things that you've taught them so they know it, and then those next unknown numbers. So that's just building upon their knowledge. Very good. Now, what are the different resources that the Abeka curriculum has to offer for teaching numbers?
We have lots of resources. We had the number concept cards that I just did with Branson, but one of my favorite ones to help with students individually understanding are our individual number cards. I give a set to each student, and it's a way for them to be able to recognize that formation, because it looks similar to the cards that we use during numbers time, but it's for them, and then it helps me know if they're understanding what formations look like and what numbers are.
All right, let's go ahead and step into Amanda's classroom as her children work with those individual number cards.
To see if they can make a number for me, I would like to have Matthew and Charlotte come on up. Matthew, you can use the orange cards, and Charlotte, you can use the yellow, and I'm going to give you a number. And then you're going to hide it for Miss Jeremy. Are you ready? Make the number 16. Oh, they are quick. She's got it hidden. All right, now you're going to step to the side. Show us your numbers. How did you know to put the 1 in the front, Matthew?
Because the tea family always likes to put one.
That's right. And Charlotte, how did you know that was number 6?
Because it has a ball on the bottom.
Right, and 1 and 6 make 16. Can you put your numbers back? I need another set of friends to come to the front. Let's have Tinley and Kaden. I love how you're sitting. Kaden, come on up. All right, pick whatever color you want. All right, for this one, I want you to make the number 18. Oh, Tinley's quick. She's got it hidden already. Caden's coming up. He's finding those 2 numbers he needs. Now, Kaden, can you tell us how you knew how to make that number 18? Let's see Tinley's. Good job. Can you step to the side so everyone can see it? All right, how did you know to make the 18 like that? It's a 1 and an 8. Nice job. Can you put those numbers back? I need one more or two more friends to come to the front. All right, Emery and Bella, come on up to the front. Thank you so much. Here, let's put this one back. All right, I want you to make the number 20. The number 20. Okay, Emery's got it hidden. Bella's coming up behind him. All right, let's see their numbers. Now, both of your numbers are, oh, she fixed it. They have their numbers. Now, Emery, how did you know that we needed the number 2?
Because the 2 comes first.
The 2 comes first, and it starts every number in what family right here? The 20s family. And Bella, how did you know that 0 needed to go in the back? It goes last. And what other special thing did we learn about 20? He's the
Father of the family.
He's the father of the 20s family. Thank you very much. You can go have a seat. Thank you for putting those numbers back, Emery. You can go have a seat, Bella. Thank you.
Now the next progression, we've learned some of the numbers. The next progression would be to learn to count numbers. And I'm sure in preschool, Ashley, we do a lot of counting. So how high do those 2- and 3-year-old children count to?
Well, the 2-year-olds, they count to 25, and the 3s count to 30.
What are some fun ways that you can make counting fun since you do it a lot? I'm sure there has to be a lot of variety. So what are some of those ways you use in your classroom?
So we use a lot of different types of voices. You can have them whisper. You can have them face the back of the classroom, the sides of the classroom, to just add a little bit more variety in there. And depending on what theme you have, you can have them do different gestures to go along with that theme. For instance, if you have an ocean theme, you can have them pretend to have tentacles like an octopus while they're counting too.
Very fun. Now, I know there's a lot of children in the classroom often, so how, if you have one up front counting, or 2 or 3, how do you engage the rest of the children in that process?
Anything to keep them active, really. So we do jumping jacks, toe touches, patting their heads. That way both their minds and bodies are engaged.
Exactly, because the more senses you involve in the learning process for the children, the more apt they are to remember what they've learned. So I love that. Now, how do you help children? I know when they're little, I have a nephew, he'll start counting and he always skips like 7, 8, 9. So how do you help them remember not to skip those numbers?
If I hear a mistake while they're counting, I'll stop them right away, and then I will demonstrate it myself, and they'll listen to it correctly, and then we will go back again and start from number 1. So that way they'll hear it the right way, and then we can go on and practice again. And if you want to add a little bit more variation to it, you can have a more advanced student come to the front and he can demonstrate how to count.
I think Mitch was going to come and do some counting with you, wasn't he?
Mitch, can you come up to the front and count with me? All right, come here. Okay, we're going to do something different, okay? We're not going to start at number 1, we're going to start at number 10. Can you do that?
Yeah.
All right, look right here. You say 10,
11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
16,
17, 18, 19, 20.
Way to go, Mitch. You may have a seat.
Good job, Mitchell. You can see how Mitch is focused on Miss DeLong because that's what she's taught them to do in the classroom. When she is flashing those cards to them, they're watching her to see if maybe she stops quickly or freezes for a minute. So that just helps the children stay engaged, even while just one might be doing that counting time. Let's go ahead and step into Ashley's classroom as her children uses the number concept flashcards.
Boys and girls, it is time for numbers. We have so much for us to do today. Today, we get to learn a brand new number. Before we do that, we're going to count to number 10. Are you ready? Class, stand. Here we go. We're counting from 1. Begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back. Stay with 1. Yes, ma'am. Ready? Begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Amanda, how high do you count in the 4- and 5-year-old classrooms?
We count to 100.
I'm sure that takes a lot of time. So how do you teach the children to stay together in your program?
Well, I will do teacher-directed counting. I'll use a fun pointer that helps them stay with me to keep their attention. And then I will drop out sometimes to listen to see if they're still together. If not, we'll stop, start again, and then if they're still struggling, I'll have that student or a small group of students count so that they can get it accurate.
That's good. And I know with teaching kindergarten myself, we not only teach them to count, but we teach them count in number families. Can you tell our delegates what number families are?
Sure. We have a chart in our set of numbers, charts, and games that we call the number families houses. And when I introduce them, we talk about families. We talk about how God made each family different, but He gave us some of the same qualities. So Mommy and Daddy might have brown hair, and I have brown hair. So we talk about how each of these families are different, but some of the families all start with the same number. This is a great resource because it breaks it down so students can count and be successful at each family.
Now, can you tell our delegates why do we teach the number families?
We want to teach the families, we want them to be successful. We start with 1 through 10 and master that, and then we build upon that. So breaking it down into number families helps students not to get overwhelmed by numbers 1 through 100, but be able to break it down and conquer each family by themselves.
Let's go ahead and step into the classroom of Amanda's room and watch the children as they use those counting houses.
We're going to go ahead and get started with counting. We are going to count from 1 to 20. So class, stand and follow Miss Jeremy's pointer. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good job. Have a seat. Give yourself a pat on the back. I love how you were counting this morning, but let's do it a different way. This time we're going to stand and you're going to tap your head while you say every number. Are you ready? Class, stand. And let's tap our heads. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Love it. Give yourself a big squeeze and have a seat.
Now, once we've learned how to count in preschool, we start beginning to teach the children how to work with those concepts of counting each object individually. Can be fun, can be challenging. So Ashley, what are ways that you use in your classroom to help the children understand that concept?
Well, children are very much visual learners, so counting the back of the flashcards can be great for practicing, but it really helps if you bring in tangible items as well. Now, Abeka has felt sets that are a great tool for working on counting individual items. We saw Mitch just do that with those felt stars. That's a perfect example. But really, anytime a child can see a tangible item move from one spot to another, he can see that each item being counted counts as one. So Mitch saw the stars go from the chalk tray into Button Bear's pocket. He sees that each item he put in counts as one.
Very good. Now, I know some children, because I've been in there, and you put the things out and they're just 1, 2, 3, 4. So how do you help them to slow down and to know only touch one at a time?
Right, so the most common mistake is they continue to count after the last object or more objects that are there. So I will tell them, watch my pointer. When my pointer stops or when my finger stops or whatever I'm using, their lips stop as well. So they need to be watching very closely.
That's good, and that's a lot of training. And you're using more of those senses. You're using their eyes, watching your lips, using their hands, the pointing and all of that. Incorporating keeps them actively engaged in that learning process. So I love that. Now let's go ahead and step into Ashley's classroom as the children work with counting.
You to come to the front. Let's see if you can count all the way to 10 in my trumpet. Okay, the rest of our friends, we're going to have quiet lips and we're going to watch Alex. Okay, wait and hold it, 2 hands. Put your lips inside. Okay, I want you to count nice and loud for our friends. Put your lips inside in the little part. Right here. Inside. Hold it. Put your lips inside. Inside the circle. Okay, ready? I'm going to stand right here. You count with one. Trumpet big like an elephant. Are you ready, Alex? Begin.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, that was good. You did it.
big trumpet accepted, didn't you?
Me.
Okay, Mr. Wong said we were going to learn a brand new number today. And guess who I brought to class today? In our classroom, we have our special friend, and his name is Button Bear. I thought I brought Button Bear to school today.
Why you?
We usually have him right here, don't we, class? Do you see Button Bear?
Why you? Why you? He's
Do you see
over
Button Bear? Oh, if you see Button Bear, I want you to touch your nose.
there. He's over
Emma, she did it quickly and quietly. Do you see Button Bear? I want you to point. Do you see Button Bear, Emma?
there. Why this? Why
You
you?
found him! Button Bear, what are you doing behind our card? Let's listen. See what he has to say. Oh, he said he wants to help us learn our brand new number. Button Bear, what do we need to do to find our brand new number? Oh, he says we need to find the otters. Bo, can you find the otters on the board? Can you find the otters?
Why
They
you?
are right there. Thank you. Have a seat. Oh, Button Bear says that to find our new number, we have to count the otters. Are you ready? Button, do you think they can do it?
Amanda, what are some ways that the K4 and K5 program continue to build on not just counting just one simple item? How do you build upon that?
Well, with building upon that, we use it when we do addition and subtraction.
And are there different ways that you count by in kindergarten, or are you just counting by ones?
No, counting by ones takes a long time, so we like to introduce different ways to count. We count by 5s, 10s, and at the end of the year, we count by 2s.
I loved the counting by 5s and 10s just because it was so fast. I would tell my children, let's count the fastest way, see how fast we can go. And that would get them actively engaged and having fun. But there's other reasons that we do count by 5s and 10s, right?
Yes, we use money in the K-5 program as well, so teaching how to count by 5s and 10s also helps build upon using money, and we talk about how I love to shop and we have to use money to buy things. So I'm going to have Branson come, and he's going to show us what we've learned about using dimes. All right, Branson, now I brought my dimes with me. Can you tell me a dime is worth?
10 cents.
Very good, 10 cents. And how do we count them?
By 10.
By tens. I have some dimes, and I want you to count them for me.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90.
And you got that through very quickly. And then we learned a song. Would you like to sing our song for the delegates that are watching? All right, let's sing our song together. There was a girl.
Who had some dimes, she had to count by 10. And a dime is worth 10 cents. A dime is worth 10 cents. A dime is worth 10 cents. We have to count by 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
That was a great job, Branson. Thank you for your help.
I like that song because children are always constantly singing. So even if they have a worksheet, I remember seeing them say that or sing that song to themselves, even as they go through the worksheets there. Now, Ashley, I know in the 2s and 3-year-olds program, we do not talk necessarily about before and after numbers, but are there ways that you get them ready for that concept in the 3 and 4s?
Definitely. So even though we don't officially teach before and after numbers, there's a way that I introduce it, and it's by handing out numbers concept flashcards. The children will just be in their chairs. I'll hand out the flashcards, and then I'll call out a number. The child who has the number that I call out will come to the front, and then I'll ask what number comes next. That's our way of kind of asking what the after number is. So the child with the after number will come to the front and stand next to the first child that was at the front, and we'll just keep asking what comes next.
I love that because it keeps all of them out there actively engaged on what's happening there in the front of the classroom. So let's go ahead and step into Ashley's classroom as she works with the children with those before and after numbers.
Extra fun. We already know what our numbers look like. 1 looks like a. 2 has a long Emma. 3 goes up Alex. 3 goes up. Okay, now we're going to put our numbers in number order. Here's 1. Here's another. I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to put this one here and this one here. These are not in number order. No, 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 no. Because when we count, do we say, begin, 3, 1, 2? Is that how we count? No, we have to count in number order. Alex, take that. We're going to start with number. When we count, what number do we start with? We start with number
1.
1. What does 1 look like, Bo? 1 looks like a 6. I want you to come find number 1. Where is number 1? And when you find number 1, I want you to stand right here.
Where can it be? A phone!
How do you know that was number 1? Because he looks like a?
Yeah!
Good. Hold it right. And come stand right here. Okay, so we found the first number. What comes after 1, Alex? 1,
2.
2. Way to go. Come find number 2.
Where is 2?
What does 2 have?
1.
Find the one with the long neck. Way to go. Hold it right. Samuel, is this number 2?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So look, we found 1. Now Alex has 2. Pinch the sides, hold it out. What number comes next? 1, 2. Emma, what comes after 2? What comes next? 1, 2.
3.
So come find number 3. Ooh, you have to write for me? Samuel, I want you to be the teacher. Come hold my teacher. Let's see if our friends put our cards in number order. Right? Uh-oh, waiting. Yeah, there you go. I want you to pinch the sides and hold it out. Okay, Samuel, go ahead. Start with Bo. We're going to count. Oh, pinch the sides. Yeah. Come to Bo. Okay, count 1.
1,
What's next?
2,
Uh-huh. And
3.
3. Good job. Are our numbers in number order, Samuel?
Then
Yes, they are. Way to go. Have a seat.
Amanda, what are some ways kindergarten continues to build upon just the next number in the classroom?
We do after numbers. So we will use the 1 through 100 chart to introduce it, because at that point in our year we're learning how to read, and it helps bring that known to the unknown. So we're starting from the left to the right. I love using that chart because it helps them understand when we're reading, we start from the left, we go to the right, and we do the same thing for before and after numbers.
So they're taking that known to the unknown and just expanding that knowledge. Do you think you could trip Branson up on some of these before and after numbers?
I can sure try. Branson, come on. All right, Branson, can you tell me the number that comes after?
24.
Oh, I thought I was going to trick you. How about this one?
5. 18.
18. Now, this one I want the before number.
2.
I can't even trick you. After?
16.
And one more. You ready? Before.
23.
Good
High
job,
five. Good job,
Branson.
Branson.
She even tried to trick him by switching it up, but you see how he stopped and thought? That's training on Amanda's part to help them realize, I have to stop, I have to think, I have to listen, incorporating again all of those senses, just helping that learning process fun and enjoyable. Now, I know when we were working in K-5, there's lots of worksheets. Are worksheets necessary?
Absolutely. They help me as a teacher see if my students are understanding the concepts that are taught. It also helps me see who might need that little bit of extra help, or if the whole class, the class as a whole, might need to review that. So it helps me know what their brains are understanding, even if they're doing the classwork with me or even working independently.
So let's go ahead and step into Amanda's classroom as you see her children working with the worksheet.
So what number did you start with here? 28. Good. What number are you going to write before? Very good. That's thinking carefully. And how about what comes after? All right, and I'm going to let you do this one all by yourself. Let's see, 55, 56, 57, you got that one. Way to go for you. I love how you're hard work. You can keep going.
Now, Ashley, I know in preschool we don't teach the children how to tell clock times, but are there ways you could incorporate clocks so you're introducing the clock to the children at 2 and 3?
Yes, so the clock can be used for counting and recognition of numbers. A lot of the times the children are asking when snack or lunch is or when we can go play outside. So I will just tell them whenever the big hand touches the 6, that will be lunchtime. And then I'll ask him, okay, what does 6 look like? Well, they'll tell me 6 has a circle on the bottom. And then we may count from 1 to 6 at that point. So just introducing the clock in that way with the recognition.
Now, Amanda, I know in K-5 we get to teach clock times. About what time of the year do we do that?
It's within the second 6 weeks of our school year.
And what is your favorite way to teach the clock times?
Well, when I introduce Mr. Clock, we talk about Mr. Minute, and he's the tall one. And we talk about Mrs. Hour, how she's the shorthand. And then we talk about shopping. I love to go shopping, so we talk about how Mrs. Hour, she'll just take her time going around looking at everything in the store. But Mr. Minute, he knows exactly what he wants, and he wants to get in, he wants to get out, and not waste any time. So Mr. Minute, he will run because he knows where he's going. But Mrs. Hour, she just takes her time and just walks around the clock.
I love teaching it that way too. I would tell my children, because sometimes once in a while they'll get the wrong hour, and I'll tell them they haven't gone through that beeper yet. So they can't get to the next door till they go through the door that makes that beeping sound. And sometimes that would help some of them. I think Branson's going to come, and we're going to see if we can trick him with some of those clock times.
All right, Branson. Now, how do we remember how to count around the clock? We use counting by
5.
Now, can you count for us first, and then I'm going to trick you with this clock. Here we go.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60.
All right, now I'm going to set the clock, and I want you to tell me what time it says.
3 o'clock.
Okay, now I'm going to give you a harder one. How about this time?
6 o'clock. 6:30.
Not 6:30, because remember, we didn't go through the beeper yet. So if Mrs. Hour's stuck in between, we have to go back. So it would be
5:30.
good. And let's do one more. Are you ready? Last one. What time does our clock say now?
8:15.
Very good. You did a great job. Thank you, Branson.
Good job. He did think about that. But I also love how Miss DeArmy worked with him, reminding him that, didn't get to that beeper yet, so let's go to the number before. Helped him be successful, even though he had made a mistake. Let's go ahead and step into Miss DeArmy's classroom as she works with clock times.
Bella, thank you. Now that we know our numbers and we've made some numbers, I think we can use my friend. We can use my friend this morning. My friend is Mr. Clock. Can you say good morning, Mr. Clock?
Good morning, Mr. Clock.
When we learn how to count our numbers, we can use our clock. Let's count the numbers all the way around our clock. Are you ready? Count with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Well, that's not the only friend I have with me today. Mr. Clock brought 2 of his friends. Just a minute. 2 of his friends with him today. He brought his tall friend, and his name is Mr. Minute. What is his name?
Mr. Minute.
And then he brought his small friend, and this is Mrs. Hour. What's her name?
Mrs. Hour.
Now let me tell you some fun things about Mr. Minute and Mrs. Hour. Mr. Minute has a thing that he loves to do. Zoe, he loves to run. Do you want to see how fast he can run? Here we go. We're going to start at the 12, and then I'm going to come all the way back to the 12. Look how fast he can run. Did you see how fast he ran? He's good at running. But Mrs. Hour, she does something that Miss Jeremy loves to do. I love to go shopping. So Mrs. Hour, when she goes shopping, she moves really slow. So watch. I want you to watch Mr. Minute, and I want you to watch Mrs. Hour. So Mr. Minute's going to run. You watch how slow Mrs. Hour goes. Are you ready? Here we go. Mr. Minute's running around. Now, did Mrs. Hour move as fast as Mr. Minute, Skylar? No, she walked slower. She's like Miss Jeremy. I like to look at everything in the store before I leave to make sure I have everything that I need. What's your emergency? In just a minute. Okay, just a minute. So Mrs. Hour loves to go shopping. Now, they say some things too. You guys like to tell me stories. Well, Mr. Minute and Mrs. Hour, they tell us things on the clock. Mr. Minute, he always says, "Oh, clock, when he's at the 12. So watch. When he comes around, he's not going to stop. He stops at the 12. When we see the 12, he says, o'clock. What does Mr. Minute say? O'clock. So he says o'clock, and that's the only thing he's going to say today. But Mrs. Hour, she has an important job too. She has to tell us what number or the hour that we are at. So if I'm looking at Mrs. Hour right now, what number is she pointing to, Danny?
The 5.
The 5. And ladies always go first. So if I'm going to say what time my clock says, it's going to say 5 o'clock. Can you say that one with me? 5 o'clock. So let's do another one. Okay, Mr. Minute ran around. Does anybody think they know what time this says? All right, Cora, can you tell me what time our clock says?
7 o'clock.
She remembered that Mr. Minute says o'clock. Let's do one more. How about now? What time does this clock say, Rylan?
9 o'clock.
Oh, can you say it nice and loud?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Now, Ashley, I know we don't do addition in the classroom with the children, but are there ways you can even begin to introduce this concept to the 2 and 3-year-olds?
Sure. Even though we don't introduce it, there are times in a numbers lesson where I will add objects to a row that we've already counted. And then the children will see, okay, the number gets higher when we add more objects, or the number gets lower when we take some away.
Now, even though we don't do all of these concepts in preschool, you can see how Ashley uses multiple different things to enhance that learning environment. If you were just counting every day or doing the recognition of numbers every day, children would get bored. So adding all these extra things in, thinking about the concepts that they will be learning maybe the next year will help enhance your learning environment there. So Amanda, I know we do teach addition, not yet in K4, but definitely in K5. So what are some ways that you help teach that to the children?
We start every lesson when we're learning a new addition family with our combination dot cards, and I will pull it out for the entire family, and that way they can visually see that we're getting more. We talk about how many red balls we have, we talk about how many blue balls, and then we talk about how many are all together. And usually you have to use those big motions to get them to think of this as a whole instead of 2 separate parts. And then I'll bring objects in as well to help have them actually physically touch things.
I do remember that part, doing all together, and we'd also say all together after that equals, 1 + 1 equals all together. So big vivid memory for me, but that makes learning fun and enjoyable, helps children remember the concept that they're learning. Now, what are ways that you've found effective in teaching them? Some of them don't understand, we're adding them all together. So is there any way you've found that is helpful for some of those who struggle with that concept?
Definitely. Once I've introduced the concept, I like keeping the dot cards out. I like keeping them because then they can count each individual object. Sometimes if it's a review lesson where we're practicing that concept again, I will have the ones that already grasp that concept. They're the little teachers that you might have in your classroom. Go and stand with that friend and maybe even just take out their crayons and break it down into the same thing as our dot cards, but having something physical that they can actually use.
I love that you're using other children to help their friends, because that's teaching good things to the children there that maybe the advanced learner. So is that one of the ways you would help an advanced learner?
Absolutely. If they're not helping a friend, I usually have the felt pieces out, and if we're practicing combinations or using the combination dot cards, I will have them using pieces of felt to do the same thing up at the board.
Now we're building precept or learning things upon other learning things. So do before and after numbers help with that addition and then the subtraction when it's taught?
Absolutely, especially for addition with the ones family, and I'll even pull out the ones family from our number houses, and because adding 1 is just counting the next number, so it's an after number, and it helps them grasp that concept because we've worked on those after numbers, we've worked on before numbers for subtraction, but then we can bring out those things they already know, known to unknown, and help them be successful with adding 1.
Let's go ahead and step into Amanda's classroom as she works with addition in her classroom.
Let's get some things. We're going to do some addition. Addition means that we're getting more things. How many of you like to get a present? Raise your hand. How many of you like to eat cookies? Raise your hand. All right, how many of you like to eat pizza? Raise your hand. All right, now, would you like to have more presents? Show me yes or no. Okay, I see lots of yeses. If you had one cookie, would you like to get more cookies? Show me yes or no. Okay, there's lots of yeses for that one. How about pizza? If you had one piece of pizza, would you like to get more pizza? That's called adding. What is it called? Adding. Adding just means getting more of something. Now, Miss Jeremy has on the board a combination all the way up here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the red dots. I like red. I like blue. So we're going to use both of them today. Let's look at the red dots. How many red dots do I have on my card, Ava?
2.
I have 2 red dots. So I'm going to write that number 2 under the red dots. Then this is what I'm going to write for addition. This is a plus sign. What's it called?
Plus sign.
That's right, a plus sign. Then I'm going to look at my blue dots. How many blue dots do I have, Matthew?
1.
Easy peasy. I'm going to write my number 1 under the blue. And then I have this sign right here. This is called an equal sign. What is it called?
Equal sign.
An equal sign just means how many altogether. So let's see. If I have 2 red dots and I have 1 blue dot, I'm going to put numbers, all my numbers together. So let's count how many balls we have all together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to write 3 after my equal sign. So 2 plus 1 equals 3. Can you read it with me? 2
plus 1 equals 3.
Adding 1 is so easy. Adding 1 is just the after number of the one that we start with.
Now, ladies, let's talk about the curriculum just a little bit. We've showed you some things that the Abeka curriculum resources that they have. It's a wonderful tool that will help to guide you through this step process. You can see we started with just introducing those numbers first. Then we moved on to the counting. We moved from the counting to counting the individual objects. Then we're adding the before and the after, the number houses and families. Then we work toward the clock times. So it's thing upon thing. We want those children to grasp that. You need to do it in a practical way. And that's what the Abeka curriculum gives you. It gives you practical ways to introduce each of those different concepts. So Ashley, what is your most favorite part of the curriculum?
I really like the felt sets that Abeka has. There's all different kinds of themes that it comes with. You've got pond, farm, zoo animals, you've got shapes and colors, different fruits that you can do. So whatever theme that you are doing for that lesson, Abeka has it.
That's so fun, and it just switches it up for the children and makes them more excited about learning. Now, Amanda, what is your most favorite part of the curriculum?
My favorite part of the curriculum is all the resources that are already included that I don't have to come up with myself, like the combination dot cards and the number flashcards, even the addition cards. Everything's already there for me, and then that helps my students be successful.
Now, Ashley, I know the curriculum involves a lot of review. Do you as a teacher feel that's necessary?
Of course, yes, absolutely. It solidifies the concepts in their minds a little bit more, and especially for a little 2-year-old, you need that repetition. It truly is the key to learning.
Amanda, are the number concepts only taught in numbers time?
No, we teach them at the beginning of the year when we talk about God's creation during Bible time. We talk about day 1, what he used. We use it in phonics when we start talking about 1 and 2 vowel words, and then we use it in science time when they have to write what temperature the thermometer says.
Let's go ahead and step into Amanda's class as she does some numbers review time.
All right, now that we've counted our numbers, let's make some numbers. I love when we get to make numbers. Miss Jeremy has her cards here at the front. Now, if I want to make the number 13, what number would I need to find first? Brianna?
1.
I would have to find the 1. How did you know that? How did you know that I would need number 1 to make 13? Because what family do we have the number 1 to start all the numbers?
1.
Yep, we have the number 1, but what name is this family? Not the ones family. Here's our ones family right here. We need the teen family. What family is that, class?
The teen family.
That's right. So I have my 1, but what other number do I need? London. For 13, I need a 3. So I have 1 and 3 make 13. Can you sing that song with me? Ready? 1 and 3 make 13. 1 and 3 make 13. 1 and 3 make 13. I am the number 13.
Oh, we've discussed so many fun ways to make teaching numbers enjoyable in your classroom. But I know these ladies, and they love to play games in their classroom. So Ashley, what is one of your most favorite games for teaching numbers?
I think our favorite game is Rickety Tickety, and it's just a poem that we say and we chant it with while we clap. And at the end we say, tell me the number that you see. And so I'll flash them a numbers concept cards, and the first person to pop up and tell me the name of the number, they'll get to come up to the board and take something down, or they'll get to take something out of a bowl that I have that day. So it's a lot of fun for them.
It makes it fun, makes them want to focus on you, makes them want to get the right answer. But I'm sure too, if they get the wrong, we just work with them to help them be successful in that classroom. Now, Amanda, what is your most favorite game?
My favorite game to play is Kick the Teacher Out of the Classroom, and you can use it with any of the flashcards that come with our curriculum. And I will start at the front and I'll flash a number. If it's before or after numbers, I'll say give me the after number. If they get it right as a class, and you can play it individually too, I take a step closer to the door. And once I get to the door, we'll do a few more, and then I step out of the classroom and the door shuts, and they get to scream and holler and have a lot of fun. But they know as soon as that door opens that it's time to get back into the learning.
That is such a fun game. It gets all of those children involved in the learning process, and I'm sure the next time you say we're going to play this game, the children will be so excited and ready to do their very best. Now, Ashley, do you have any other fun games you'd like to share with our delegates?
Yes, so a lot of the times I will get my big fun glasses out, and I will just throw the numbers concept flashcards on the floor, and they get to put, one child gets to put on the glasses, and I will call it a number, and they get to go find the number on the floor. So that way they get to get up and they get to have fun with the glasses. And
so fun. I remember doing something similar to that in my classroom, and you'd have the children at the tables pointing. You know, it's over there, it's over there. But
Yes,
again, that's engaging all of them because they're all looking for that number. So, such a good idea. Amanda, do you have any other ones you enjoy?
Another favorite in our classroom is Leapfrog, and it's where I choose a boy and a girl. So it's a little bit of friendly competition between the boys and the girls. We'll have a boy and a girl stand in the back of the classroom, and then I will have the children at their seats stand, and we'll have boys versus girls, and whoever gets it right, so the boys got it right, the boy would jump forward. If it's a new concept, I throw a teacher frog in there, and if they don't get it right, then I get to try to win the game with my students as well.
Oh, so it's also competition against you, not just boy and girl. So that makes them work even harder because they love to beat the teacher. Kind of like your other game, but if they're working against you, I love that how it teaches though to work together too as a team, and it helps build that relationships between those children in your classroom. Thank you, ladies. I love all these ideas that you've given us today. Delegates watching, I hope you have gleaned so many different things from today's session. Teaching numbers can be fun and enjoyable in the classroom. Teaching them all the different concepts just helps to build their knowledge to make them be successful in that classroom. Thank you again for watching.